Today, I want to talk to women about something that has disturbed me to a certain level, but also compelled me to let you in on a little secret. I have a lot to say, so let's get started. I am Rosh, and welcome back to my channel. I have hated men most of my life. To give you the context, I'll have to tell you a little bit about myself, which I hate doing. It just messes up with my silent, mysterious goth. I'm just kidding. For the past few years, I was extremely okay with and very much preferred being private, having a small circle, basically being out of people's sight. These were also the years where I was way too deep in the rabbit hole and I was doing a lot of emotional and mental work. I was focusing a lot on my emotional health and physical health. I used to go to the gym. I have not been in the gym in more than 2 years. You see my guns? Better be intimidated. I'm coming for your girlfriends. I'm getting too familiar considering this is a serious video. I'm coming for your girlfriends. Anyways, before that, for the most part of my life, I have hated men. Because of my experiences with them, I have resented men for as long as I can remember before these past years. And none of it was a romantic relationship. I was single all those years, so it was never that. Even after I got into spirituality, I was an atheist before, by the way. Even after that, when I went out in the world for the first time after my solitary confinement, I fell into this shithole which I call reality and had more shitty experiences with men. And again, none of it was romantically, touch wood. I don't have any word. I really thought I'm spiritually awakened now, so everything is love and light, and I saw every single person from the eyes of kindness and thought everyone was a good person. Even if they are doing something shitty, they are a human being after all. Dumb. That was stupid. I'll admit it. Guilty. The thing about healing, growth, any kind of development is that the progress is never this. It is this, right? So the downs are equally important, which is why I'm sitting here telling you about this. So after a year and a half of that shit show, I cut everybody off from my life, every man. And then I was left with a few female friends who I also cut off a bit later because some were toxic and some were simply not aligned with my life. The thing about me is I am a leaver. I will leave. Like, I do not give a fuck. I will leave. And then I turned inwards again and started analyzing, understanding, and again healing again from all the traumatic experiences. During that time where I was learning so much and understanding a lot about the world and life and how all of it works, I have been at more peace than I have ever in my whole entire life. Now, there are a bunch of reasons to it, but in context of men, I completely decentered them from my life. I didn't like them. I didn't hate them. I was simply indifferent towards them. They didn't have access to me, not as friends, not as acquaintances, not as anything. And in that healing journey, I realized just how powerful and sacred my energy is. That men wanting to spend time with me, to be in my company, being friends with me, or hang out even just as acquaintances, is not something that I should let happen so carelessly. You have to be, and I'm not exaggerating this, you have to be really extremely choosy and picky about who you let have access to you, who you surround yourself with, who you hang out with, who you let in your energy field. In men's language, you have to be difficult. Even though the things that you need to consider are literally basic human decency, a lot of men, let's be real, don't even have that. You have to consider if they are empathetic, how do they treat others, waiters, workers, if they are a misogynist or a fan of patriarchy, red pill podcasts, if they believe in mental health, therapy, if what is their relationship with other people, what is their relationship with themselves, how do they see themselves, how do they see you. So when you go through a checklist like this based on whatever aligns with your life, you will be surprised by how many people, be it men or women, are disqualified for having access to you. And when I did that, I had to cut everyone off. And I say everyone, not at once, but eventually. And that is when I was at the most peace and I was the happiest in my whole entire life. I was in my own bubble, my own world, and I only allowed people who made my life better in some or the other way. And of course, I could do the same for them. And my Instagram feed was filled with spiritual things, cat videos, or emotional mental health advices. I had literally created on and off social media a life which I loved, a bubble of my own. Fast forward to the start of this year, something pushed me to start this channel, which is a story for another time, which really exposed me to this shithole which I call reality, the real world. I saw people, specifically men, commenting mean and nasty things and all. But this time I knew better. This time I had the opportunity to put all the inner work to use and act from a place of the healed version of me instead of the wounded version. And I did, and I'm so grateful and I am very proud of myself for being able to do that. Thanks to all the lows in the graph, it felt like a piece of cake to me. Now, when you get into spirituality, the first thing you do is stop watching the news. It is all BS, nothing is real, everything is scripted, everything is designed and shown to you to distract you from the real issues. From rebelling against the real issues, acknowledging the real issues. It is a psyop. That's again for another video, but my point is I haven't watched the news in years, and I don't ever. Whatever I do know is because I came across it accidentally on social media. Now, what was happening since the last few months was my feed was filled with feminism related reels. Whatever is happening around the world with women, countries imposing restrictions or revoking women's rights. Women in Afghanistan are only allowed to see from one eye. They are required to cover the other eye because according to them, you only need one eye to see the world. And a lot of different things that are currently happening or has happened in the past centuries with women. Every woman watching this would know just how much it fills you up with anger and rage. I could literally feel the blood running through my veins, boiling. It's a lot. It is scary, it is shameful, it is disgusting, and it's very depressing to watch. To watch it happen to other women, it fills you up with unimaginable, unthinkable kind of rage. And I open the comments of these videos, and there are always men, either with real accounts or fake accounts, who are either making fun of it or encouraging it in some way, or rage baiting women by normalizing it, saying things like, where's the lie? Now imagine reading those comments with that already present rage inside of you. It's kind of similar to when men are expected to pay the bill. Jokes aside, men cannot even fathom what I am talking about, and women cannot relate more to this. Now see, I have come across multiple news in the past few months about a bunch of different things, and I have developed the ability to not let it affect me like it did before, or like it does with the general population. Like, I can look at it and I still know that it's BS, it's all a distraction. There's no point having an opinion or taking sides on this because it's just BS. But when it comes to women being treated like Not even animals. Animals are treated way better and loved way more around the world than women are. Looking at such inhumane behavior, the misogyny that is present in families, relationships, the workplace, the government, the religions, pretty much every single place, it literally breaks our heart every single time we come across such news. It is not any better, even if it is so much normalized, even if it is so common to hear nowadays. Not even nowadays, for centuries. Even though I was in this dilemma where, as a woman, I should know what's happening with other women around the world, but on the other hand, it also felt wrong to ignore these things to keep my peace. But it was really taking a toll on me mentally, especially the comments, because I don't know, something in me was so compelled to look at the comments. I know it's like self-harm, but I don't know. So what I did was I continued to click not interested in these reels, in all these videos, to clear my feed of these things, because once you interact, once you start interacting with a certain kind of content, the algorithm shows you more of it. So it didn't go away entirely all at once. When that went away, things on less serious levels started coming up, like women talking about their personal horrible experiences within their dating life or family that happened to them. It was the same with that. Comments like, she must have done something to deserve that, or get a reaction like that, or women also do horrible things. I continued to click not interested in all those videos as well. Then videos which inform people of how many women are victims of certain crimes versus how many men face them. The statistics are always around, like 97% of men commit these crimes and 3% of women do. And it's always around 90, the ratio is 90:10, and I'm being generous here. I spilled coffee on my white top. Anyways, so even those videos talking about the statistics of crimes committed by men and women, even those videos had comments saying that if you want equality, then it should be okay for us to hit you. Mind you, they don't believe in mental health or therapy, but the first thing that comes to their mind after hearing equality is if it's okay to hit women, as if they don't already do it to their mothers, daughters, and wives. I got rid of those reels as well. Then remained women who were simply calling out men's behaviors, either in her own personal experience or other women's experiences, and who were very specific and articulate about it. When I watched those reels, I really thought to myself, wow, this is so spot on, this is so true. And men cannot possibly have anything to counter it because it is so evidently true. How foolish of me to think that. I go on to open the comments. I know, self-harm, self-sabotage. And there they are. They said, with that attitude, of course he did it. Of course you deserve that. Or he didn't do it bad enough, considering you're still talking. Every single reel in which women are calling out men for their own behaviors and own actions, men are howling and crying in the comments saying misandry, misandry in the big 2025, hating men is not the solution. Meanwhile, she's simply calling out criminals. And I'm not exaggerating this. It is, those were literal crimes. Then at last I come across reels where women are making fun of men's hypocrisy, audacity, and stupidity. And of course, obviously, men are getting emotional in the comments, either playing the victim or playing literal criminals, writing threats, proving her point. And this went on for months, by the way. I have watched, I don't know, endless reels, videos, and read their comments, the men's comments, to see how they think. And honestly, it was very draining for me to do that. And I didn't do it on purpose. It was just, it kept happening and I couldn't stop myself. It was like a loop or whatever. There's one comment which has not left my mind no matter what, and it's very disturbing. This one girl joked about something men used to go to wars or something, I don't remember. I only remember the response of this one man who said, "Women have stopped being beaten till they cannot move, and that is why they are acting like this." Now, I have read way worse than this. It's not a shocker for me. Any woman who's watching this, it's not something that they are coming across for the first time. Like, a lot of you must be like, this is nothing. I have been through way worse, let alone read just comments or whatever. But this one in particular really made me think that these are the men who are not behind bars. They are walking free. They are among us. Somebody who thinks like this and has this mindset of a rapist could be sitting next to me and I wouldn't know. And it's not a probability of it might happen. It has happened. It has happened to every single one of us. And every single woman I know, at least, be it on social media or off social media, has been assaulted or worse at least once in her life. She has faced these things at least once in her life, and more than once actually. And that is what the scary part is, when men are like, not all men, and then we see this side of men, and you really want us to actually be okay with, you really want us to like you. Nobody can actually tell the difference between them and normal human beings, which is scary, but is the reality of every single woman. So I kept clearing my feed, and no matter how harmless the video was, women were just talking about, I'm 32, I'm single, I really love my life, I don't have children, I don't want children, or I have a loving husband or a loving partner. They are simply living their life, and if they have no man or a good man, that is triggering to weak men. If someone is showing off their good relationship, they call the man gay in the comment section if he's treating his girlfriend well. If a woman is like, I'm single, I love being this way, she is also being slut shamed, targeted, and God knows what. We know what. And the most common one, if they have nothing to say, they will simply come for your character. I could tell they didn't even flinch before posting the most horrendous things one can possibly say about another human being. No matter how harmless the video is, there are always a bunch of men saying the most horrendous things known to mankind about women to women. And all those comments in every single one of those videos displayed either lack of empathy, lack of human decency, or hypocrisy. To sum it up even better, it was simply misogyny. The most common ones include that men go through shit too, that it happens to men as well. So spread awareness. Do something about it. I don't know, start your own page. Help and support other men. Speak up about your struggles. Why do you see someone else share their pain and immediately run to dismiss it by saying, we struggle too, we just suffer in silence, we just aren't allowed to talk about it? Sir, you are not suffering in silence. You are very loud and clear about your struggles. I see you howling, crying under every single reel on women's problems. You are not silent. If you're trying, try harder. You are failing at it miserably. Secondly, who isn't allowing you to talk about it? Other men? The truth is, they couldn't care less about what happens to other men. They don't have a cent worth of empathy for their fellow men. Men are the first ones to shame other men for making certain choices, be it about their sexuality, be it about their dressing sense, be it about treating their girlfriend well. They call their friends gay or a simp for treating, loving, being affectionate towards their girlfriend. I've seen videos of men treating their girlfriends' wives well, and comments are filled with men calling him a simp, gay, or cussing that man out. Makes me think you're not lonely enough. The loneliness epidemic that you're complaining about, you are not lonely, clearly not lonely enough. And also you're also not struggling enough, in my opinion. Men admit that they don't go to their friends when they are struggling mentally or emotionally. They go to their wives, they go to their girlfriends, they don't go to their friends. Why? Because they don't take it seriously. They make fun of him, they call him gay or weak for struggling mentally. Or they will just simply give him a distraction, like take him out for drinks or like do something like fuck around instead of sitting down and offering him emotional support or offering him a solution. Most of the problems that men go through is because of men, or the others are just a result of patriarchy, which is again a man-made concept. And the only time every man, every country, every tradition, every religion comes together is when it's about oppressing women. Divided by religion, race, country, tradition, united by misogyny. And another one of the very common ones is the roof over your head is built by a man. The system you live in is built by men. As if it is a flex. Take a look around. Look at history. Look at the present. That is not a flex. The system is the whole problem. If we have 99 problems, dismantling this system could solve 105 of those problems. Do you realize this? I am not proud. I am ashamed of the system. The system is a threat to each and every one of us. The system you're flexing on is something that people are trying to break free from every single day. Somewhere in the world, people are celebrating that marrying children under the age of 16 or 18 is banned. You need someone to tell you, you need the government to tell you you cannot marry children. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? This is what you set up. All the issues that you're complaining about is because of the system that is built by men, which you are flexing on. Women didn't contribute in making history or setting the system up. It's because, listen, you illiterate, uneducated piece of cake. It's because they were not even allowed to have their own bank accounts. They were not allowed to inherit property. They were not allowed to vote. They were not allowed to leave their abusive husbands. They were not allowed to exist without depending on a man. Little girls, listen, bad boy _69, you piece of shit. Little girls were forced to get married to grown-ass men, which is called child marriage, which is still prevalent in some areas of the world to this date. They were not given basic human rights. They were not allowed to live like human beings, let alone making history. And even when they did invent something, they did discover something, they did make a huge contribution in the history, men simply stole the credit for it. Their husbands simply stole the credit for it. The men around her simply stole the credit for her invention and discovery. This is what happens when your source of information is Instagram reels or other illiterate misogynist men. And if those comments are not illogical, hypocritical, or inconsiderate, they will just slut shame you. It is just character assassination. And I don't even need to mention what kind of comments does that include. So I'm just going to leave it there. What's funny is to see them label it as misandry. Women's natural reaction to centuries of oppression, abuse, and inhumane behavior, which continues to this date. their rage and anger towards their oppressors is labeled as misandry. Misogyny results in inequality, discrimination, abuse, rapes, assaults, murders. Misandry results in women talking shit about men. I'm sorry, women talking shit about their abusers. How fragile one's ego has to be offended for being called out for their own behaviors and actions, and how hypocritical it is to blame women for their reaction to all that oppression. Meanwhile, some men are fuming because we generalized them and forgot to mention not all men. Nothing you can say, no matter what it is, will actually convince a misogynist to stop being one. Those videos are great and necessary for spreading awareness to other women. But for sexists and misogynists, they just open the comment section and decide, this seems like a nice place to take a shit. And they go on to do that. It is so bad to the extent that when a man treats us with basic empathy and kindness, it literally feels like, oh my god, protect him at all costs. He's such a great man. Meanwhile, he's just behaving like how normal human beings are supposed to behave and treat each other. The bar went to hell and still somehow found a way to go lower than that. So yeah, I found myself in this place of dilemma since the past few weeks, even months. And I know a lot of women are also going through the same thing. In fact, I believe each one of us are. And the little secret that I wanted to let you in on is this. The thing about hating men, or anyone for that matter, is that it takes a lot of you to do it. All of us have experienced this, and we do it on a regular basis, how it feels to deal with most men. Looking at their actions, their behavior, the words that come out of their mouth, it is emotionally draining or mentally disturbing, to say the least. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you're a man. To the cellular and energetic level, it is nothing but harmful for you to carry resentment or hate of any kind. And because men have made it extremely, utterly difficult for women to not hate them, I have something worse that we can do instead of hating them. It is being indifferent towards them. Decentering men completely is their worst nightmare. It is the best act of rebellion women can possibly do. Now, how do you do this and what does it look like? The first step is to create your own bubble and start living there. Create your own world, create your own home, create your own safe space, create your own bubble and start living there. And I'm not suggesting this as a coping mechanism, but it is literally how it is supposed to be. And FYI, this solution is not universal. It doesn't apply to each and every one of us, because I know there are women who are in extreme survival mode and who are genuinely extremely helpless. And my heart goes out to you. Now, first of all, what is decentering men? It basically means nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, in your life revolves around men. Your decisions, your choices, your preferences are all yours. Let's say you like dressing modestly, you prefer covering up more because you feel comfortable that way. Not because men prefer you that way, not because men want that in a partner, but because you want that for yourself, because you like it. Now, the same goes with you dressing up however you want. If you want to look hot and confident in a dress, do that because you feel like doing it. Don't do it because men like it or men don't like it. Listen to me here. Like, if you hear a man saying, "Oh, I don't prefer women who wear revealing dresses or this and that," and you think to yourself, "Oh, they don't prefer that, now I am going to do exactly that." You do things that men don't like just to make them mad, just to trigger them, just as an act of rebellion. And that is an example of you centering your life around men. That is an example of you centering your life around men. Doing whatever makes you happy, regardless of how it makes men feel, whether they like it or don't like it. Let's say if I don't prefer going to clubs, which I really don't, and I have my own reasons for it. It's the loud noises for me, it's the crowd for me. Spiritually, I believe this, like in energy exchange and all this, and I'm sensitive to energy and whatever. I have my own reasons, and it has nothing to do with a man. I couldn't give 1/4 of a fuck about what a man likes in me or prefers me to be. By that, I also mean that if a bunch of retards collectively say, "Oh, I don't like my women going to clubs. I wouldn't want my girlfriend to do that. I don't like that. I don't prefer that." And not a single cell in my body would go, "Oh, they don't like it, now I'm going to do it." Or, "They don't like seeing women like that, now I'm going to do exactly that because I love seeing men triggered." Because that is you revolving your life around men. You think that it is an act of rebellion. It's not. It is you letting them control, affect, influence your decisions. That is you centering your life around men. Decentering men is not taking them into consideration whatsoever and making your decision based on what feels right to you. Moving forward, if you think that you cannot individually and independently control what happens around the world, it's BS, it's a lie, erase that. You absolutely can. And all you need to do is turn inwards and nothing else. That's it. Trust me, I am telling you this because I've experienced it myself. Healing your inner child, reparenting it, taking care of it the way you always wanted to be taken care of, loving it the way you always wanted to be loved, having fun with yourself, being that someone you wish you always had to your inner child is the best possible thing that you can do for yourself. It is literally the key to living a life which is actually rainbows and sunshine. The world tells you, "Oh, life is not all rainbows." Yes, the fuck it is. Yes, the fuck it is. I'm telling you, yes, it is. It can be. When you're creating this bubble for yourself where you are the main character and all you care about is being healthy, happy, financially independent, self-sufficient, at peace, totally in love with yourself, you actually end up attracting things and relationships that match your energy. Because listen to this, you are in love with your inner child and you respect and cherish that inner child. You value yourself, you treat yourself well, you have high self-worth, you have high self-esteem, you know, you're aware of the things that you still need to work on. You believe everything happens for your greatest good, no matter what it looks like. Somebody disrespects you, because that disrespect is abnormal to you, it is very easy to walk out of that situation and cut that person off from your life if necessary. When someone doesn't love you enough, when they don't meet the standard that you have set for yourself, let's say if you love yourself at 5% and somebody comes in and loves you at 6 or 7%, it feels like a lot. It feels more than enough. And you accept that love. But when you love yourself at 60% and somebody comes in and gives you the love, respect, or value at 50 or 55%, you don't accept that because you need at least 60% for them to meet your standard. So the more you love, value, respect yourself, the stricter that checklist becomes when it comes to allowing people in your life. If you love, value, respect yourself at 95%, you need someone to at least give you 96%, at least give you more than you're giving yourself. Otherwise, you're better off alone. You yourself are capable of giving yourself the 95%. They should add to your life, so they need to at least give you 96% of all those things, and it applies to everything in order for them to meet your standards. It just feels abnormal for you to accept anything less than what you give yourself. So at whatever percentage you do those things for yourself is the standard you are setting for other people to meet in order to be able to come into your life. And that is how you avoid low quality experiences or mistreatment or abuse or any of the bad experiences. That is how you avoid it altogether. Because the first sign of it simply gives you the ick. The first sign of disrespect or toxicity or whatever, you know when to stop interacting and when to cut them off. So when you transform into this person, you automatically stop attracting negative people, shitty situations, shitty people, shitty men all together, because trust me, I did. And it's not to say that, oh, I am never met with bad situations or bad people. I just know when to walk away. I always know when to walk away. And I do. And I love it. Because nothing is worth disrupting my peace. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. What comes with healing your nervous system and learning and studying yourself is emotional strength, resilience, which helps you build those strong boundaries and which helps you break out of negative patterns. You have high self-worth, you are extremely confident, you have improved, good quality relationships. Then there are physical health benefits to it. It makes you feel empowered from within. You finally feel the drive to pursue your dreams and make it your reality. You are more compassionate with yourself and others. It also helps you drastically improve your relationship with finances and money. Healing dissolves any fear of judgment, the fear of rejection, the fear of failure. Trust me, you literally cannot care less about external validation. You cannot care less about other people's perception of you. You become fearless. And nobody can convince me that being the most powerful person when you walk in any room is not the goal. Not the power that comes with money, status, or external validation. That's just fear disguised as power. But the one that comes from within. The way you experience yourself and the world around you. When you carry that power, you feel powerful. And therefore you act powerfully. And that's when other people also start perceiving you as someone powerful. And that is what I call real women empowerment. As much as our anger is justified, just arguing with men or just talking about the issues, it does not bring real change. Healing transforms how you view yourself, experience yourself, and the world around you. It is so much deeper than that. Surface level solutions will not help to dismantle centuries of deeply rooted patriarchy, misogyny, sexism. You want to be the one to break the generational curse, you have to alchemize your pain, you've got to become a witch. Unlearning everything that you have been taught about the world or the reality is the key. If you are too obsessed and engaged in reality and logic, none of it is what it seems. It's all bullshit. Start believing in fairies and magic, bro. Know that the flowers, the animals, the nature, everything that you love loves you back because it is all you experiencing yourself. Spirits, angels, everything is real and they're always around, regardless of how lonely you think that you are. And if that makes you delusional, so fucking be it. You either think I've lost it or this sounds beautiful to you, but either way, it is what it is. When I was continuously refusing to accept people who did not meet my standards, even as friends, I was saving myself a ton of time and energy that I would rather pour into myself than pour into someone who is not adding anything to my life, instead taking away from it. So when you create this bubble for yourself and live only in it, you don't care what any other person, what man is saying, what he expects from women, BS, whatever it is. You don't care if he's asking stupid questions like, what do you bring to the table? You know that's the last conversation he's going to be having with you, and you're just going to go about your life without him in it. The last thing you will feel like doing is stress over it, talk about it, try to teach him, stay for the potential, hoping he will change one day. You don't have time. You will not have time for any of that. You will not have any energy left to do all that because you'll be pouring everything into yourself. You simply attract and accept like-minded people, be it friendships or relationships. The last thing you want to do is convince them why to be a good friend, how to be a good partner. You are very hard to control when you are healthy. You are very hard to manipulate, you're very hard to influence when you are clear-headed. There is no virtue in struggles. There is no virtue in settling, compromising, sacrificing, tolerating. You are stupid. You are simply stupid if you do that. You're not a loyal person for staying no matter what. You're not a good person for keeping up with that shit. You are simply stupid. So when you live in that bubble, when you live in that state for long enough and you become comfortable in it, the outer world doesn't really affect you at all because you've understood that it's all a circus, they're all jokers. Bro, it's time for me to get back in my bubble and get out of this reality because I have had enough of this shit. Like, I'm not even kidding. For real, girl. I've seen enough of this shit. Another extremely important thing that you're doing is actually changing men. Now, what I mean by that is you cannot change a man by fixing, teaching, asking him to treat you right, nagging him for not meeting your standards. You cannot do that. You will drain yourself, you will fail. What you can do, the best thing you can do is revoke their access to you. Because when women heal, they collectively decide to focus only on themselves and completely decenter men, love their inner child, reparent it, raise their standards, and refuse to accept anything less than what they already give themselves, refuse to settle, enjoy their own company, men will have no choice but to keep up. When you close off any easy roads leading to you, they will have to walk the extra miles. When you start accepting only those who tick all the boxes in your checklist, they will have no option but to meet those standards. And you will be safe from low quality experiences. When there are no women left who will accept their bullshit in their lives, who are they going to date? Who are they going to hurt? Who are they going to drain? They will eventually have to be the men women require them to be in order to have a relationship with them. Or else, even great, everybody's single, bravo. That's exactly what is happening in Japan right now. Women were tired of men acting the way they did and they stepped down from the roles of being wives and mothers. Now there is a male loneliness epidemic, apparently, not just in Japan but around the world. Now they're complaining about the declining birth rates, women not wanting to create families anymore. It's because men are not qualified to be good husbands and fathers. What do you want them to do? What do you want women to do? Ruin their life and their bloodline like your mothers did? They can't afford to give birth to more retards by marrying one. They would rather have their lineage end with them than continue it with a brain dead chauvinist. Ladies, taking full control of your life, your decisions, your body is the key to liberation, and it will literally contribute to the whole population being better. Other women are going to be inspired by you, and the men will just have to be forced to become and act like normal human beings. It is entirely up to you to leave them with no choice. And single women are happiest anyway, so it's not even a challenge for us. Because trust me, reading all those comments, one conclusion I can give you is nothing triggers men more than women minding their own business and living their best life. And nothing scares them more than dying alone and not being able to find someone who will accept them. They're also dumb enough to scream and confess it by projecting all the insecurities for the world to know. To all the women watching this, our ancestors have fought for decades, even burnt on the stake, so we can have the freedom and autonomy that we have today. Wherever you are, whatever your current situation is, if you are being mistreated by the people in authority, be it your family, parents, your boss, your colleagues, or your partner, whoever, just remember those witches weren't burnt alive, so you get to wake up every day and decide to take shit from a man, or anybody for that matter. And even if you have certain physical restrictions because you're dependent on your family or partner or whoever, just remember that they cannot take away the only essential thing you need to get yourself out of any situation, which is your mind. Being the change that you want to see in the world has never been truer. I am being dead serious when I say this. Fairies are real, magic is real, angels do exist, and the universe is always on your side. And all you need to access those things is your mind. Get inside it, gain control of it, make the best out of whatever you have. If you're watching this, you have access to the internet, make the best out of it. Learn about the laws of the universe, start believing in magic and miracles. Take control of your life and your decisions, because in this fairy tale, you save yourself. You become your own savior, and that is the best ending and the most mystical start to your new life. And listen to no one when they tell you, oh, come out of your little bubble and be realistic for once. No, thank you. Don't put me in the same cage that you confine yourself in. Please make the most out of the freedom that you have. You live in a time where you can think, live, and decide for yourself instead of men without being criminally prosecuted for it. I really hope and wish that you realize that and make the most out of what you have instead of feeling helpless. And if you don't know where to get started, I will link a book in the description, and I will try to find a free PDF of it. You don't even have to purchase it, you don't have to spend any money. All you have to do is just read it, give it a read. It is very simple. Please, I beg you to do it. At least it changed my life, and I really hope it changes yours as well. Let that be the start of your new magical life. And about the hate, I'm lately feeling it too, and it has disturbed me, and I do have a lot to say, but I have seen enough to know that if I really care about women and myself, it is my responsibility to do what's best for me, which is also the worst for men. Giving that hate direction and alchemizing it to your benefit, making the most out of it so you grow into a better, more sufficient, independent, healed version of yourself is the worst nightmare for men. The mere existence of such women is enough to threaten, offend, intimidate, trigger weak and insecure men. And that alone gives me a huge sense of relief. This is not to say that don't give it back to them or don't stand up for yourself when needed. Go rogue if the situation demands. But you really should be mindful of what deserves your response, your attention, and what doesn't. A lot of times we see them saying the most offensive or audacious things or dumb things, and our first reaction is to trigger them back and to offend them back and to say things like, oh, men are like this, men are this, blah, 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 blah. And the thing is, you are in the dominant position when you don't give them the reaction that they crave. Men are attention seekers, they are reaction seekers. They feed off of your hurt and anger and pain. You think telling them how they hurt women makes them feel something? It doesn't. That is not new information to them. The biggest rage bait for a weak and a narcissist man is not giving him any attention whatsoever, or if necessary, you giving them a laid back response. You being untriggered and unbothered is the best thing for you and the worst thing for them. Also, I did not put a disclaimer saying I know not all men, because men who are not in that category are also secure and well aware of the men that I am talking about. So if any of this hurt your fragile ego, that's because I'm talking about you. It is aimed at you. All men. Gotcha. Lastly, healing has a psychological approach which is based on neuroscience, and it also has a spiritual approach which is woo-woo, and it is literally the same thing. It's just about what feels comforting to you, what makes you fall in love with your mind, body and soul. For me, it was spiritual, and it could be anything for you, so go with that. That's it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, if you watched till the end, because I know it is going to be a long video. I am very grateful if you watched it till the end. I have my Instagram in the description if you want to follow me there. I will also link the book in the description. I really hope you read it. I really hope women at least watched till the end, please. I really mainly made it for them. Thank you again so much for watching the whole video. I love you so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.